Hi, Dan Steven Erickson here, Songwriter, and today I'm going to do another guitar review, but this is a unique guitar. I bought this clear back in the summer of 2018, and when I bought it, it was a Gibson LG-1, and I'm not sure, it's either a 67 or a 69, I've forgotten. I want to say 69, but it might have been a 67. So an LG-1, and I want to show you a picture of what it looked like when I got it. So that's what it looked like. It had a big crack right down the middle there, and it was a different, more of a blonde color or natural. I got it for $600, which an LG-1 in good shape of that year is probably more like $2,500. So I figured $600, I'll pick it up, and I bought it. I contacted a luthier that I know, and for another $400, which I thought was a steal, he turned this LG-1 into an LG-2. So if you don't know the difference, a Gibson LG-1 of this era was a ladder braced, so the braces are straight across on the top side of the guitar. The LG-2 is cross braced, right? And most people prefer cross-braced. I think it sounds better. And the luthier said, hey, I got to take the top off and fix it. And you can see where he repaired that. There's still a crack, but it's repaired. He says, I got to take that top off and fix it anyway. So let's turn it into an LG-2, so it's an LG-1 to LG-2 convert. And then he finished it really well. He gave it the real LG-2 look, used the real LG-2 pick guard. It didn't have Gibson on the headstock, and he custom painted Gibson on the headstock. He did a really good job. And so this guitar, it's a beautiful sounding guitar. I got it tuned. I've got it tuned in what sometimes is called graveyard tuning. It's D-A-D, D-A-D, dad. So the two center strings are exactly the same. And so that's what I use this guitar. I use this guitar in this tuning. I sometimes use it for slide. He purposely left the action be fairly high. That my luthier, his name is Dewey, up in Yakima, Washington. Dewey prefers high action, and so he thinks that we should all prefer high action. But you know what? Over the years, I've come to agree with him because it lends itself well to slide, and also when you're playing with high action, it really makes you play the notes. My little Martin that I've shown on here is also high action, and I've grown to like it. So the action's fairly high, but it's great for slide. It's just it's a great sounding guitar. The only problem, here's my biggest complaint about this guitar. And this is why I tune it to dad or graveyard tuning. My biggest complaint about this guitar is in the late 60s, the Gibson LG-1s and LG-2s and perhaps some of their other guitars had really thin necks. The length across the neck is really thin. When you're playing traditional chords, that creates issues because, my fingers aren't big, but they aren't tiny either. So it creates dead strings. If you really gotta be tight to chord those well and not get dead strings. So I decided a couple of years ago that either I'm using this as a slide guitar in either open or traditional tuning, or I'm using it in this alternate tuning. And that's the one I've chosen to keep it in. So this guitar is pretty much always tuned to graveyard tuning, D-A-D, D-A-D. Again, it's an LG-1, 1967 or 69, I've forgotten which. I knew it when I bought it. I want to say 69. But it's an LG-1 that a Luthier for 400 bucks. So I got $1,000 total put into this. For $1,000 he turned this, or for 400 extra dollars, 600 for the guitar, 400 for the work. So for $1,000 I got an LG-2, right? It's an LG-1 turned into an LG-2. It's a conversion, but it's a great guitar. It's great wood, mahogany back. I would assume a spruce top. I'm not sure on that. It may be a mahogany top too, but it's a very, very nice guitar. It's got that vintage vibe, unlike the LG-0 or the L00 I have that I've been having trouble with. A quick update on that. Gibson's not being nice. I asked to speak to somebody higher up the ladder. They say, no, you can't bring in your guitar in person. You got to ship it to us, even though you only live 20 minutes away. You got to ship it to us. And I'm like, could I speak to a manager, someone higher up? Oh, yeah, but he's really busy. He'll get back to you in a couple days. It's been almost a week. So I'm going to wait a little longer, and then I'm probably going to make a decision as to whether I just keep that guitar and I won't ship it to them. There's more problems that could happen if I ship it into them than the little bit of binding that's getting loose. So I won't ship it into them. I'm more likely to trade it in or take it to a luthier and just pay out of pocket. But I'm leaning toward trading it in. But that's the L00, which is a 2023 model that I've only owned a year. This one's a 1967. It was fixed up. The luthier worked on it way back in 2018. And guess what? All the bindings still on there. No problems, no lifting on bridges, no lifting on pick guards. All problems that the new L00s tend to have. So I'm a big fan of the old Gibsons, not as big a fan of the new ones. I just don't think their quality is the same, and I don't think the company has the same kind of support as it might have a long time ago. But anyway, I just thought I'd do this quick review and show you this LG-1 converted into an LG-2. It's a great guitar. If you ever get your hands on old LG-1 or LG-2, I think they're worth it. You can spend $2,000 to $4,000 or $5,000 on them. But they're a great guitar. I'd put them above the new L00s. Anyway, I'm Dan Steven Erickson, songwriter. Next time I'll be back with another song. You all have a great evening.